Hi guys, it's Kumar, and today we'll be discussing a word problem on simultaneous equations. So first of all, whenever you're solving a word problem, there are two things that you need to take care of. First, you understand the problem properly. The simplest thing to do this, or the way to do this, is to read the question again and again. First of all, you would try to identify, okay, which chapter does this relate to? What kind of mathematical tools that I need? How can I solve it? What is the end result that I'm looking for? So these are some of the things that you'll have to think. Second thing that you have to do is to structure the information. Now see, the end the end thing with any question is to get it into mathematical form or some form of equation that can give you the result in terms of, let's say, I assume x or y, so I want the value of x and y. Now what I want to do is first get this information that is in word form into mathematical form. The easiest way is to structure the information into cases. For example, if I read this question, so I have that there are 2300 students in a school compared with last year. Okay, so straight away you are seeing that there are two situations that I'm getting. This situation is for this year, and I'll be also getting some information for last year. All right. So the number, let's look at what happened last year. The last year, the number of boys increased by 25%. So whatever the number of boys was last year, this year it is 25% more than that. Whereas the number of girls decreased by 25%. Now I'm getting more information. I know that there were boys and their number has increased. I know there were some girls whose number has decreased. One more information has been provided that says that the total number of students increased by 15%. Okay. Now the question is, how many boys are there in the school this year? Okay. So first of all, let's look at the two cases that we discussed. I'm looking at last year and this year. Also, the information that I want to look at is the number of boys, number of girls, and the total number of students. Okay. Let me start with an assumption that, okay, there were X boys last year and the number of girls is different. I also don't know how many students were in total were last year. So let me just take another variable y. So y was the number of girls last year. So the total number of students is just x plus y. Okay. Okay, what happened this year? So this year the number of boys increased by 25%. How I put that into equation? So I start with x, and whenever something increases by a certain percentage, the way I write it as 1 plus, for this case, 25 over 100. So 1 just represents the starting case as to how many students were there last year, and 25% is basically the fraction of the total value, the initial value that increased. Okay, so for any value that any expression that has something increasing by a certain percentage, we'll use this kind of format. This kind of format will also be used when I have something decreasing by a certain percentage, which we'll see in the case of girls. The next task would be to simplify so that I can use it directly next time. This is x into 125 over 100. Now it can be further simplified because I have a multiple of 25, a factor of 25 in both the cases. So if I divide by 25 the numerator and denominator, I'll get something like 5x by 4. Okay, for girls, I know that the last year it was y, and I know that it has decreased by 25%. So this is the expression that I'll be using. Okay, now see, this is nothing but y multiplied by, if we simplify this will become 75 over 100. Again, I can see there's a factor of 25 in the numerator and denominator, so I'll simplify it again. This will give me 3y over 4. Okay, now the point is I have to calculate total number of students for this year. Okay, now there are two ways I can approach that. See, one way I can just add the number of boys and the number of girls. So this will be nothing but 5x by 4 plus 3y by 4. This is one way of solving it. Okay. Another way of solving the same thing is using another information that has been provided to me. I also know that the number of students, total number of students, have increased by 15%. All right. So I had x plus y number of students in the last year. This increased by 15%. So I'll use the normal format that I have. This will become x plus y multiplied with 115 over 100. This can be simplified to 23 over 20 multiplied with x plus y. Now, first thing you have to understand that both of these represent the same value. They are the I have used two different types of methods to reach the same value. So what you have to understand that both of them are equal to x plus equal to 2300. So I'll use this fact to find more details about x and y, and what I'm specifically looking is for two equations in x and y. Okay, so let's start with this. By one method I found out that okay, there are 23 over 20 x plus y. This is the total number of students this year. Okay, I also know that this value is nothing but 2300. Okay, this can help me directly calculate the value of x plus y, which is 2300 multiplied by 20 divided by 23. So when I'm bringing something on this side, something that was multiplied will come into, we'll have to divide by that this time. Something that we were dividing by with before will now be multiplied. Now see, this is very simple. I have a 23, I can cancel this out. I can get 100 here, and this 20 into 100 becomes 2000. So what I'm getting is my first equation in x plus y. I know that x plus y is 2000. So what I've found out is the last year the total number of students was 2000. Anyways, the thing that I've achieved one equation in x and y, right? But to solve that I need another equation. Okay. If we go back, we saw that we had, this is one way we had used to find out the value. So we have used this method. There is one more method to find the same value. Okay, so I know by addition of the number of boys and number of girls for this year, I know that 5x by 4 plus 3y by 4 is also equal to 2300. Alright, now see, whenever the denominator of two fractions is same, I can take that as the same base, and I can write this as 5x plus 3y. This whole thing is equal to 2300. Next thing I have to do is just 5x plus 3y. I have to multiply this 4 on this side, so this becomes 2300 into 4, which is 9200. So my value becomes like this: 5x plus 3y equal to 9200. Alright, this will be my equation number 2. So you see we have found two equations and we had two unknowns. So the main logic is satisfied. We have two equations, two unknowns, we can find the value of x and y. So let's go ahead with that. My first equation was x plus y equal to 2000. And my second equation is 5x plus 3y is equal to 9200, right? Now see, we are looking for the number of boys this year. Alright, so the value that is important to us in compared to x and y is actually x. So what we want to do is we want to use these two equations to get rid of y. The easiest way to solve these kind of equations is to just make the coefficients of y same in both the equations and then eliminate that by subtraction. So the one way I can do this is if I multiply this whole equation by 3. Okay, so this equation becomes 3x plus 3y equal to 6000. Sorry. So this was my equation 1, this was my equation 2, and I have got another equation 3. Now what I want to do is I want to just subtract the equation 3 from equation 2. So let me write it here. I have 3x plus 3y, this is equal to 6000. What I want to do is I want to subtract. So if I subtract 3x from 5x, I'm left with 2x. 3y and 3y gets cancelled out, so this is 0. And I get 9200 minus 6000, which is 3200. Alright, which means my x is equal to 1600. Okay. Okay, now this is where you need to be careful. Sometimes what students do is they find a value of x and they leave it there. But remember, what did the question ask? The question asked how many boys are there in the school this year. This is the number of boys last year. So we still have to find the number of boys this year. So we had found out that the number of boys this year was 5x by 4. So the only thing I need to do is put the value of x, which is 1600, and I get 5. I can cancel this out, so I get a 400. I get 5 into 400, which is 2000. Okay, this is my answer. This is what you'll have to report the answer uh, as the final value. Okay, this is the number of boys this year. So I hope you have understood that to solve simultaneous equations, or rather in this case word problems, first you need to read the question again and again to find out what information is given and what is needed of you. You also need to structure the information to get the best data out of it. Okay. One of the important things you also have to remember for simultaneous equations is that uh, if you have two unknowns, you have to find two equations. If you have three unknowns, you have to find three equations. Okay, so the number of equations has to be equal to the number of unknowns to find unique values for x, y, or if you have z, then z also. So this is the question for this video. In next video, I'll be discussing this question. So please go through this question, try it by yourself, and come back in the next video to check how your solution worked out compared to mine. Okay, bye bye, have a good day.